The pitch is looped towards shortstop. Petroselli's back. He's got it. The Red Sox win. That is pandemonium on the field.
Welcome to the Great American Collectibles Show, brought to you each week by the National Sports Collectors Convention. Join us every Wednesday evening at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and get the latest news from the greatest experts in the sports collectibles world. You can watch us on the Great American Collectibles Facebook page, as well as YouTube, or you can listen to us on Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, or any of your favorite podcast platforms. And now your hosts, award-winning sports collectibles author Tom Zappola and Boston radio personality Lou Blasi.
Yo, Louie boy, how are ya?
Doing very well.
Good. High above courtside, Tom Zapp from warm Florida, Louie. Warm Florida.
Snowless Florida.
We're on the 18th floor.
I got no sympathy. Jeremy's from Phoenix, from Arizona. You're in Florida. Right. I'm in 2 feet of snow.
All right, so let's listen. Jeremy Murray from, obviously, our pal from Pristine Auctions. Jeremy, you're in Phoenix. What's the temperature there overall? Pretty much.
Right now, we are a balmy 55 degrees. We're going to hit 73 today.
As we are going to hit 73.
I may have to put a sweatshirt on. Maybe get a little chilly.
Well, it's funny because I go for my bike ride right after the show, and I had my long gym pants on, and I said, wait a minute, it's going to be 74, so now I have my biking shorts on.
It was 0 here this morning. 0. I'm just saying.
And Lou, rumor has it that there may be another event coming this weekend up in the Boston area.
Yeah, we're coming down to stay with you.
Yeah, you're welcome to. I'm hearing anywhere from 2 inches to 10 inches. But that's nothing now for New Englanders. That's nothing.
After this storm, no, that's a piece of cake.
Right.
Yep.
Hi, welcome to the Great American Collectibles Show. A little later on in the show, we've got Doug Keating from Cardboard Promotions is going to be joining us. Jeremy's here for the whole hour. You know, Jeremy, we've been talking Pristine Auctions, and I want to talk about it. Lou and I want to get into it, and we're going to talk about other stuff too. Yeah. But Pristine Auctions, I call you guys an outlier in the auction world. You are definitely not your run-of-the-mill auction house. You're not Heritage. You're not Memory Lane. You're not Leland's. You're not Mile High Card Company. You guys really are a unique business, and it's cool because I've always said that you guys really genuinely appeal to the masses. Yep. With what you do, how you operate. So I want you to take us through the difference between the Pristine business model and everybody else. Number one, how many employees do you guys have?
We have right now about 110 full-time employees.
Okay, so you have 110 full-time employees. I'm not going to ask you what you do in sales, but your inventory must be astronomical. I mean, you guys have a warehouse that has inventory in it?
Yeah, we have two warehouses full of inventory. It's Tom, it's something that when I came here for my first time 7-8 years ago.
Were you with SGC?
Yeah, it was Beckett.
You were at Beckett, yeah, okay.
Beckett before we came here and we worked with the guys at Pristine. And I walked in here and I had absolutely no idea this was going on behind the scenes. Like I knew the guys that I worked with. And it's the same kind of feeling when we have visitors come in and take tours and look around and see this place. And they're just like, you've got to be kidding me. Yeah. Like, this is insane. The amount of people, the organization, the tracking ability, the processing, all of it is wild. It is really wild to see. And it's amazing what Pristine has built itself over 16 years in business.
Forget all the processing and all the operations part of it. It must be just a fascinating place to work because you never know what's coming through the doors. You never know what you're going to run into when you go to work each day. Yeah. It's got to be amazing.
It is really cool what you see. And some of it you're like, okay, well, here's another pallet full of Jose Canseco jerseys. And that stuff's like, it's cool. Like it's good to see. And he signed it and did that stuff. But then you'll have people ship in rare items to unload, or drive in from all over the place to drop items off. And you're like,
All right, so hold on, stop
Yeah.
there. So you've got really several outlets for inventory to come in. Like you just mentioned, a pallet of Jose Canseco, whatever.
Yeah.
So there are certain small businesses that you guys deal with
Yep.
that, right, that are kind of captive to you guys. And then you have the general public. Tom Zappala has a whatever, and he sends in one item, hey, sell this for me.
Yep. And when I started working with Pristine, it was sort of known as a memorabilia place, where it's a place where you could get your signed stuff here. Good, either custom jerseys, unique jerseys, and things like that. But it was memorabilia, and it's changed a lot over the past 2.5 years, where the card business has grown. So a lot of unique items, some bigger items coming in that we met and have seen before. But at the heart of it, it is, like you said, it could be someone does a signing with Jose Canseco and sends a bunch of items in that way. Or you may have a Tom Zappala that says, hey, I've got a small collection of cards, or I picked up some autograph stuff. We had an amazing side note. We had an amazing item come in that'll be up at auction soon. And it was a small booklet filled with Hall of Fame autographs in there. Babe Ruth, Ty Cobb. And the guy had collected them. You could tell it was a homemade. It was cut out, clipped in there, pictures of the players, and signed. And so the guys at Beckett were here doing authentication, and they loved it. And they went through there, and most of them were good signatures. They took those out. They got them slabbed up. They got some of the Babe Ruth stuff framed up, and then some of the pieces didn't pass authentication. So that's the weird type stuff that you see mixed in with a palette of Jose Canseco stuff. It's just a wide variety of stuff that, like you said, Lou, you never know what you're going to see when you're walking into the warehouse or when you look at an auction.
Okay, so in the
Go
context
ahead,
of
Louis.
Tom's project with Ellen and Joe Orlando about the fines and things like that, tell me the background of that autograph book. Was it? Are we getting it from the original guy who possessed it? Is it just out of the woodwork, basically?
It sounds like it was the original person that owned it. It was a current consignor that met up with these folks who were helping them with their estate. So it sounds like it was a referral from for the original owners of this book that lived here somewhat locally and brought the piece in. And they had already it's weird because you see some of these items that come in framed, and they're beautifully framed, and they're not authenticated. And you're like, oh no, this isn't going to go well. Like somebody got this framed up where it looks beautiful to deceive somebody. And this one was not one of those. All of the pieces were original. And they'd taken them out of the book and gotten them framed up, the big pieces. And it's one that'll be an auction soon. We're working with the consignor now to see how they want to sell it, but it'll be absolutely a focal point of probably our elite auction that's coming up.
Now, Jeremy, okay, I was going to ask you this. So that would go into the elite auction. Do you guys have a reserve price on every item?
The only auction that we have reserves on is our classic auction. So if you go to our website and you take a look at the classic, it's an auction that has 55,000 items in there. It's a massive, massive auction. And every one of those items start at a $50 bid, and they have.
Hold on, Lou, did you hear that? 55,000.
Yeah, 55,000.
Guys, I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna look at it now. I said 55,000. It's 53,534 as of today. I want to be exactly correct. Okay. And what's great about that auction? It's a place where customers can feel comfortable if they want to have sort of a safety net underneath their item. There's some huge items in there, and I understand the reason why. We prefer the non-reserve auction. We want to move the items. We want to get buyers seeing the pieces and knowing that they're not fighting against a reserve. To each their own. Like, they're both great.
Well, you know something? I've looked at you. I've paid close attention to your auctions, and I'm going to ask you a very pointed question. Yeah. Some of like your 10-minute auctions. I mean, you guys must lose money on some items.
It's a great question. And I tell consignors, like, hey, listen, don't look at one auction. There's a chance you lose on that. Look at the whole. So if you send in 100 items, you say, man, you know what? I want $5,000 for the lot. If you lose on the first one, hopefully you make up it on the second one. And I tell people this. I say, guys, we want to sell the pieces for as much as possible. We don't want everything to undersell because, number one, you're upset. Number two, we make more money if the item sells for more. So that's our plan. And so, yeah, there's going to be some pieces that in any auction, there's a chance a consignor loses a little bit. But at the end of the day, we want that to be in black numbers when you look at your ledger for all your pieces that you send in.
Well, how do you deal with, you just talked about a collection, and I know you say with classic, there's always a reserve, but you're talking 53,400 items.
Yeah.
You're going to get lost. No one's going to go through 52,400 items.
So glad you said that. Like, that's what I tell folks. It's like, hey, listen, you're more than welcome to put your item in the classic, but just know unless someone's specifically looking for that player, that item, that person, they're not going to find it. There's no way you're going to scroll through that. And so we have discussions with consignors, of course, like, hey, you've had this item listed for 6 months. Like, you need to move it. You need to put it somewhere else. You need to lower your reserve, be more realistic. Because just be honest, there's some pieces in there. And we tell people that's a museum piece. Like, you're putting it in there at a reserve that it's never going to hit, and it's just going to sit there.
Jeremy, do you guys also buy product outright?
For the most part, no. We'll do some cash advances on some collections and things like that. But Jared's always been one that he built the business for consignors and to get stuff in here. And I'm sure there's been times over the years that he's bought some collections and things like that. But we really try to. We have some of our own stuff in there. We do some private signings with some athletes and some. Jared's big into UFC and the NASCAR, obviously, and we have some folks coming in like that. We have basketball players and football players come in all the time, and we'll do some stuff signings with them, and that's stuff that we own. And Jared sometimes will fill in some auctions with some of his pieces that he buys around, but for the most part, these are all consignments, and that's kind of how we just want to keep the business.
Very cool.
Talk a little bit about the NASCAR market, because as Tom mentioned, I'm a fan, and I grew up a fan in the Dale Earnhardt, Rusty Wallace type of era. And I kind of equate it to golf in that there used to be personalities, and now it's very corporate. There's less of the outlying personalities like you used to have in the sport. So how has that affected the market? I mean, Tony Stewart kind of ended that. He was the kind of the last personality.
I will tell you, I am a very, very fringe NASCAR fan, and I didn't understand it until I went to the championship race last year. It's here in Phoenix, and I went down there, and you're in the pit, you're sitting with the drivers, you're on the track, you see the cars go by, you're like, this is insane, like this is awesome. And to me, I didn't appreciate it until I did that, and I'm still fringe. And Jared's not. Jared loves it. Jared goes to races all over the country. He's got it. We do charity events with the NASCAR Foundation. We just wrapped up one last week in Florida, in Daytona Beach that we did. And we're doing some more things with him. And so Jared's gotten to the point where when he does the signings, they do a lot of marketing for us, the NASCAR folks. And I see what you're saying there, Lou, with like the personalities. I think now in the world, you sort of have to walk sort of a straight and narrow line. You're not going to be able to grab a beer and have a cigarette after you finish a race the way that you would have in the past. You've got to, with all the sponsorships, you've got to kind of have a cleaned and polished look that may not have been there back in the day. But it's cool to see these guys come in here. We've had guys come in with their kids and do.
Oh, they're great guys. They did great guys. In all the races I've covered, they'll just talk to you. It got them backstage with Rusty Wallace at Loudon up here in New Hampshire. And
wait a minute, who was the other guy that I grew up with? AJ Foyt, was that his name?
Well, that's going back a ways.
Is he dead?
When we went to the race last year, my son knew less about racing than I did, and he grabbed a photo and ran up, and the racers came and signed, and he was absolutely thrilled. They were so nice to him. They're in it for the fans. And you mentioned golf, and that's an interesting comparison. Golf fans and collectors are so passionate, and they're so protective about their items. And NASCAR is the same way. Like it is.
But the modern guys, like, or are you talking to the Trevinos and again, back in the personality era?
And again, I think golfers have to be real careful about their personalities and things like that as well. And it's a shame because you go back and you look at some of that, the old footage, I'll say old footage from the 80s and 90s, and it's wild. And I still think that's why, like with golf, I think that's why the John Daly's still have a cult following, because he doesn't give a rip. He's
Right.
out there smoking cigarettes and drinking as many of his drinks as he possibly can on the course, and he's just himself.
He's
And I
doing
think
commercial. He's doing some really funny commercials.
When you get
now.
invited, Jeremy, to the Daytona 500, go.
Okay.
It's a bucket list event, whether you're into NASCAR or not. It's like the Kentucky Derby, and it's one of those events you got to go see.
Go ahead.
I gave my friend such a hard time that was a huge NASCAR fan as we grew up through college together. I was like, this is ridiculous. It's why don't you just not fill up with gas and just use better tires and all this stuff? And you get out there and you watch, you're like, dude, I had no idea it was this intense and this awesome. It's a lot like baseball. Baseball
looks boring and nothing's going on, but there's something going on every pitch. There's something going on every lap in NASCAR too. It's just like that. Just
the power of those cars launching around the track, it puts you in awe. So I am, again, such an outlier. Jared is a massive fan. He loves it. He loves to help the NASCAR with their charity. He likes to have drivers in. He is really good friends with Christopher Bell, and when there's races, he'll come in early and they'll go to Suns games and things like that. They're buddies. So it's cool. It's cool. And it's also cool. Like the first time we drove to the track here in Phoenix, you drive in there and there's pristine stuff all over the walls. I was like,
nice.
man, this is pretty cool.
Let's talk about Jared for a sec before we take a break, Jeremy. He's at the helm. How hands-on is Jared in the building with the business, or does he sit up in the ivory tower?
Oh man, this question may get me in trouble. Jared is full hands-on. I don't think he sleeps. I think that he's constantly thinking and working. And as an entrepreneur that has started this business and built it up the way that it is, it's his passion. And I don't know if I've mentioned it here before, but when I came on board here 2 or so years ago, I said, hey, what is your long-term plan? Like I've been through acquisitions and mergers and things like that. It's like, what's the long-term plan with Pristine? He goes, his exact words like, I'm not going to sell it. He's like, I love it. Like, what would I do if I didn't have this? So he is hands-on all the time. He is constantly thinking. We don't know if it's better when he's in the building or on vacation, which we get the most feedback from Jared. If we give him time to think, that's a scary and good thing. We've often joked we'd like him to get to a place where his internet isn't working, so he can't reach anybody. But it's also awesome to have somebody that is an entrepreneur spirit like that loves the industry, loves the hobby, is the highest integrity person that I've ever worked with in this industry. He is sometimes too buyer friendly and too much on that side where it's tough to say, hey, Jared, like, wait a second, like let's think this through just a tad bit, because he really wants everybody that's involved with our auction, a buyer, to get what they want, to get a good price for it. And if you watch him on our live shows, when he sits there and how he talks and how he interacts with people, that's how he is.
I've seen that many times, and obviously we've sat down a lot, especially at the National with Jared. He is. I mean, you see what you get. I mean, you get what you see. Yeah. We are chatting with Jeremy Murray from Pristine. Hey, Lou, quick question.
Yes.
Did I tell you that we're going to do a CJ moment today? Is that okay?
That's fine. I'm ready to go.
I didn't know, because I know we didn't do one last week. When we come back after our Crackerjack moment, Pristine, they don't just sell cards. They don't just sell sports stuff. They sell everything you can possibly imagine. And when we come back, we're going to talk about some of those other categories that just are amazing. Hang in there, and we shall be right back.
I'm Rebecca Curry, a two-time child cancer survivor, recipient, and advocate for Lucy's Love Bus. The mission of Lucy's Love Bus, 501c3 nonprofit, is to provide joy, comfort, and quality of life for the entire family of children with cancer. Since 2006, they have delivered love and comfort to over 3,000 children with cancer and their family members across New England. The dream of Lucy Grogan, an 11-year-old cancer patient, was to help kids with cancer who are suffering right now, before there is a cure, by offering free integrative therapies like art, music, horseback riding, and many other activities. Unfortunately, Lucy passed away, but her dream lives on, and today Lucy's Love Bus is thriving.
I'm Red Sox Hall of Famer Rico Petrocelli. I hope that you'll consider supporting Lucy's Love Bus and all of those children who have been stricken by cancer. The Great American Collectibles Show is partnering with Lucy's Love Bus to help these kids. Let's continue Lucy's dream. Please go to lucyslovebus.org for more information.
Since 1996, Brian Drent and the staff at Denver's Mile High Card Company have led the charge in the collectibles hobby. Mile High is a full-service dealer specializing in buying and selling cards and offers a competitive consignment program for all collectors. Whether it be their computerized want list service, appraisals, or auction services, Mile High has it all. If you've been searching for a company with a selection of high-grade vintage 1888 to 1970 baseball cards and memorabilia that shares your passion, aim high, Mile High. Go to milehighcardco.com or call 303-840-2784 for more information.
This is Brian Drent, president of Mile High Card Company. Is your sports card and memorabilia collection properly insured? For easily replaced personal property, homeowners insurance is all most people need. But for prized possessions that you may have spent a lifetime collecting, it doesn't go nearly far enough. Collectibles Insurance Services has been insuring for over 50 years. They offer a full range of protection and a $0 deductible at an affordable rate with no appraisals required. I know because they insure my collection. If you have a minute, go to collectinsure.com and learn more about insuring your personal card or memorabilia collection.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
How would you like to own the bat that was used by your favorite player when he hit that towering home run or game-winning base hit? Now look no further than JT Sports, specializing in the sale and authentication of professional game-used bats. As the official authenticators of professional model game-used bats for PSA DNA, JT Sports will guarantee the authenticity of any bat purchased from them. JT Sports also buys and sells game-worn uniforms, gloves, and baseball equipment. The unique quality of the collectible is what JT Sports is all about. Give them a call at 609-487-8003 or check them out at GameUseBats.com.
Okay, we are back, and Jeremy Murray from Pristine Auctions is in the house, and a little later on, hopefully, Doug Keating from Cardboard Promotions is going to join us. But right now, I repeat, right now it's time for another Crackerjack moment, brought to you by our good friend Paul Borges and the staff at PB Collectibles. Go to pbcollectibles.com for that special vintage card at an amazing price. We've got probably about a dozen Crackerjack books left. You can go to tomzappalamedia.com. I think they're half off or 40% off, some damn thing, I don't know. But anyways, you can get a great deal on them, plus all of our other books. We are working, as we speak, on our 8th and final book of the series, the award-winning series that we have. This week's Crackerjack moment, this guy was kind of a enigma, I guess you want to call him. Hal Chase. Hal Chase was given careful consideration as the starting first baseman on our Crackerjack All-Star team when we first wrote the book. Although he is one of the most infamous characters to ever wear a baseball uniform, his numbers certainly warrant attention. One of the first stars of baseball, Chase batted over 306 times and won the National League batting crown in 1916 with his .339 average. A truly gifted player, Chase was a whiz defensively, pioneering some of the first base techniques that are still used today. He perfected the art of playing off the bag and charging weakly hit balls. He also spent hours working on barehanding and perfecting his sweep motion in order to tag runners out. Offensively, Prince Hal was a very good hitter whose best year was in the Federal League when he batted .347 playing for Buffalo. There's no doubt that Hal Chase was a great ball player. On the other hand, Hal Chase was as corrupt a ball player as ever existed. Quite frankly, he became the proverbial black eye to the game. During his time in New York, Chase became known as a troublemaker and show-off. He was well aware of his ability, and some say he felt fans were privileged to see him strut his stuff. Chase ran with a fast crowd of Broadway entertainers and gamblers. He thought nothing of betting either on or against his own team throughout his career. In 1918, he was suspended from the Reds for offering bribes to opponents and teammates to fix the outcomes of games he had bet on. After being implicated as a middleman in the 1919 Black Sox scandal, Chase Hal never ever would play again in the majors. Prince Hal lived out his years playing for semi-pro teams and living in obscurity on his sister's ranch. The game of baseball most likely would have been better off without Hal Chase. And that's another Crackerjack.
If you want to take advantage of these copies of the book that we found recently, you can go to tomzappalamedia.com/Crackerjack Collection and order your copy of the Crackerjack Collection, Baseball's Prized Players. This great book will give you a glimpse into the personal and professional lives of the players in this iconic collection. That's the Crackerjack Collection. Now on sale. It says 30% off here, but even more, Tom?
I don't know what. Yeah, whatever. It's a great price.
Tom's Apple Media /Crackerjack Collection is where to go to get a great deal on that book.
Hey, listen, just stick with this topic for a minute, both of you guys, talking about Hal Chase. What are your thoughts, Lou? You work in the business. You work for DraftKings.
Yep.
You're there every day. You're seeing the action that's going on. Is this whole thing going to explode with players betting on their own teams or against their own teams? I mean, we're starting to see little dribbles of this and dribbles of that. Is this thing going to explode at some point in time? Lou, I want to get your opinion first.
I don't know if it's going to explode. We've already heard pressure from the leagues in all sports, talking to DraftKings, and DraftKings themselves and all the books are working on how viable prop bets are at this point in this whole thing. And that's going to be the thing. Prop bets are either going to have to be governed a little bit or possibly even eliminated, because that's where all the problem lies. And
with prop bets,
everyone's aware of the problem, and everyone's aware there has to be an adjustment made here. How severe that adjustment's going to be, I don't know yet, but it's a topic of conversation. I mean, it already happened with the NBA. We've watched some of the markets. The NBA has calmed down some of the player props and multi-leg parlays and things like that with player props. So there's going to be adjustments made. I don't know if there'll be a real explosion, but I think there's going to be a series of adjustments as the books are going to feel more vulnerable to player prop manipulation by the players.
Jeremy, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think you're right on there. I think I would bet when they pull back a little bit more, they're going to find more things that have happened in the past. It's just wild to me where you can have these player props, somebody that is a bench player, and you have a huge bet come in that they're going to do something. It's like, I mean, how more obvious can you be that there's something wrong there?
Right.
I thought about this years and years ago as I started dabbling a little bit into gambling, and you would go to some of these offshore sites back before it was legalized in most places, and it would be like, who's going to win Survivor, the TV show?
Yeah.
Well, obviously the person that won knew somewhere along the way, and it's like, hey, Tom, go put a couple $1,000s on me winning this, because I'm going to tell you, you're going to pay off. So you're going to have to watch some of those. And
Jeremy, that aspect is coming back. You have Kalishi now, and you have other. I forget what they call it, what the term is for it, but where they're just doing things other than sports. And WWE, they've been betting on WWE for years too, and it's like, someone has to know what that outcome is going to be.
Wait a second. I
Why
didn't
don't
know
I get
that.
those calls?
You can bet WWE?
Yeah, you can. Yeah. In some of the bigger events, you can bet WWE. And we all know it's scripted. I don't like the word fix. It's scripted, but somebody knows how that's going to turn out.
I would like to get a call from somebody that's got a really good inside tip on some a WWE fight. I've yet to get those.
That would be very, very cool.
Somebody knows. Just a matter of whether it gets out, right?
Crazy.
Yeah,
Listen, I want to talk about, Jeremy, I want to switch gears for a minute on inventory.
Yeah.
First of all, what is your title? What do you do for Pristine?
Yeah, I'm the chief operating officer here. So I'm in charge of overall general operations. I lead the sales team. We have a marketing director, but in charge of the marketing team. So any sort of the business side of the company sort of rolls through me at some point or another. And we talked about it a little bit before. Jared's involved in his hands in a lot of other things. So and that's just kind of how it is. But that's my title. That's my level of expertise and why I came on board.
So do you have, for instance, do you have a purchasing department?
We do have a purchasing department. Handles all of our when we do our signings and things like that they'll handle all of those events.
All right, so let's switch to jewelry, for instance. Okay, now that's a commodity that you guys have, and I think you sell quite a bit of it. How does that? Do you oversee that part of the operation also?
Yeah, anything that comes in there on consignments and the consignment services, I have my eyes on that. Jewelry is an interesting one because before I got here, they had jewelry mixed into all their other auctions, and they stopped doing that for a little bit. And then we had some really, really good consigners that we trusted and we knew that said, hey, I've got really, really good pieces here. I'd like to be involved. So we've actually expanded and have a weekly jewelry auction now that are just for those guys. It's one you have to be careful with, and you have to work with trusted folks there, because we guarantee anything that we sell. Authenticity is a key thing, and it's again, I talked about Jared's integrity. If there's any question of that, then he's one to say, we're not working with that consignor again, refunding the customer type stuff. And so we have to be very protective of what we allow in.
So do you guys have, I mean, you sell like legit high-end jewelry as well as costume jewelry?
It is all legit jewelry. No costume jewelry in here.
Really?
The jewelry auction we have here are all certified gems and jewels there with appraisals and everything that come with those.
Oh, wow.
So it comes with it. It's the same thing where if we have an autographed Jordan basketball, we have one of the big authentication companies authenticate that. We also have GOAT authentication that does our Tom Brady and stuff to add their authentication on there. We want to make sure that people, when they buy stuff, they're getting what they.
So Louis,
Tom has a specific authentication company.
Yeah, he owns
authentication company.
Yeah,
Which
he was
one?
at the Philly
Brady?
show. Yeah, he was at the Philly show. So Louis, wait a second. Your engagement ring. There you go. That's where you can get it.
That's how I can get it. Yeah, get it.
I can call Jared up. I can call Jeremy up. Can give Lou a deal. Fair enough.
Is there any memorabilia crossover there, Jeremy, where Marilyn Monroe owned this ring or owned this necklace or that type of thing?
If there is, and there is some provenance behind where it came from, we're happy to sell it that way.
There you go, Lou.
All right.
Hey, let's switch gears again. Let's talk musical instruments. You guys sell some really cool guitars. Lou's a guitarist. Tell us about that part of the business.
Yeah, kind of in our pop culture side of the business, we have a lot of musical items that are in here. Guitars, obviously, you mentioned that. The pick guards, a lot of the guys will get the pick guard side and put it on the guitar display, get custom guitars in there. There are times that we have musicians come through here. Alice Cooper is a is a fan favorite and a friend of Jared that'll come through and do autographs for us. But yeah, there's in the music industry and any pop culture side of the business, there are autograph chasers out there. And if you can grab autograph stuff from musicians, it's huge. People, and I think I may have mentioned here before, people ask if we have Taylor Swift in here signing. We have so much Taylor Swift signs.
I was going to say that you guys have quite a bit of Taylor. Now, let's talk about that. Does that come from one consigner?
All sorts of folks that have it. What happened, and I think this kind of started during the pandemic, artists were signing CDs and sending them out to buyers. And so they would do it. And I think it started, Taylor Swift might have been the first one that sort of did this. Say, hey, pre-order my CD now, and it'll be signed when it comes there. And a lot of people got involved with that. You'd pay $50, $100 and whatever and get Taylor Swift signed autographs on that. That's kind of how it started. But yeah, all these items come from multiple consigners that send. A lot of the stuff is the same stuff, but there's some unique stuff that are in there as well.
This question occurred to me during the 7th game of the World Series, the Mel Rojas homer at this point, and who has control of that ball and where the value is. But it expanded my mind because Shohei Ohtani could be sitting in a room just signing stuff left and right if he wanted to.
Yep.
Has the trend gone towards artists and ball players controlling their own autographs and their own supply chain? Taylor Swift could put a dress out from the Eras tour and probably make a pretty good buck off it.
Correct. It's an interesting question because a lot of the athletes now may or may not have contracts with some bigger players in the industry. Fanatics being one of them, where they'll say, hey, we can only sign for Fanatics. I'm a Fanatics guy. That's who I can sign for. But there are some folks that don't want to have that, and they will go to and do signings and individual signings and work with whoever they want to. But Lou, I think that's what you said there is it sort of goes back to what you talk about gambling. Like if you needed money, Taylor Swift could take one of those outfits that she wore in a concert and sell it to a Leaf or a Fanatics or something like that and cut it up and make cards or sell it individually. And live pretty well on that.
And then, they do both too, Jeremy. For instance, it could be whoever the athlete or entertainer is, they could have an exclusive with Fanatics and sign only for Fanatics, but Fanatics can have a position at the National, for instance, and that individual is signing at the National, but working for Fanatics.
Sure.
That happens quite a bit.
TriStar does that. TriStar has their own show.
Right, exactly. Jeff Rosenberg does that.
And they provide the athletes and for the National. And so, yeah, it's interesting with like Fanatics Fest coming up in July, where they'll have their massive group of athletes that are all set up there. And I think they're somewhat protective of those guys. And I think they probably pay them very handsomely to be more protective. So they may not loan them out as easily, but we'll see.
Jeremy, what about fine art? Now, listen, you handled jewelry, sports, entertainment. Do you, Jeremy Murray, have to become a semi-expert in all of this stuff? Yeah. Let's talk about fine art. Christ, you sell fine art.
Thank goodness I do not have to become an expert in that. It's a slippery slope there because we've had people say, hey, that's not art. And it's a thing to say, okay, what do you consider art? If I scribble on a piece of paper and I said, look at that masterpiece, I consider it art, others don't. And so it's tricky there to say what is art and what's not. But what we do is we have authentication of this. We need to work with artists that say, hey, this piece was done by Jeremy Murray. It is authentic. It just gives a little bit of detail about what it's there. So just like we were talking about before, some of the larger auction houses that are out there that deal with some crazy, huge grail type cards. Right now, we're not one where you're going to come and probably find rare Picassos.
Right. You're not going to get a Monet.
You're not. Yeah. It's just, it would love to, but there's been times that we've had people reach out and say, I've got a Monet. Do you guys take this? We'll take it. It's not our specialty. And it's probably, in being honest, and it's something where in the many years I've been in this industry, I'm one that I like to tell people the truth about things and say,
Yeah.
hey, Pristine may not be the place that you want to sell that. Like you may look at a place that deals in fine art. We are more modern art, more a little bit abstract, a little bit just different sports type art there.
No,
so
I mean, I'm
I'm
looking at it right now, and I mean, you've got some cool stuff. You've got the the Mamba oil painting on canvas. I mean, that's a beautiful piece. But then again, you have some Muhammad Ali signed lithograph.
Yeah.
So you're kind of all over the place. It's actually pretty cool.
It's one that's a very interesting one when you go through that auction when it's listed and you're like, hey, listen, Larry Bird's shoes are not art. I know that you can consider anything art, but that's not art. Like we need to have some things in there that we need to be need to lean one way over the other. So yeah, art is something that we put out there, and art is a category that we've done really well in. But I think when you come in there and you're looking for high fine end art, Pristine Auction's not the first place you're going to go look for Monets and Picassos and things like that.
We are chatting with Jeremy Murray. Louis, I'm going to give you the option, Philly or Finkelmeyer. What would you like?
I know you hate Finkelmeyer, so I'll take Finkelmeyer. You don't hate Finkelmeyer, you hate reading the ad. Finkelmeyer Insurance Agency has been insuring collectibles since the early 1980s. The late Tom Finkelmeyer wrote the original sports memorabilia insurance policy when no one else in the industry was insuring sports collectibles. A lifelong collector of sports cards, Tom Sr. instilled the love of collecting to Tom Jr., the current president of Finkelmeyer Insurance Agency. Tom Finkelmeyer Jr., with 3 decades of insurance experience, has paired that expertise with 50 years of collecting, and with a litany of professional designations, including counseling and risk management. Tom covers every aspect of your collectible insurance needs. Unlike some of the companies that sell collectibles insurance directly to the consumer online, Finkelmeyer Insurance Agency is the only independent retail agent who specializes in sports memorabilia and collectibles nationwide. Representing all major companies that sell collectibles insurance, there's no agent that insures more collectors, dealers, appraisers, auctioneers, or events in the collectibles hobby than Finkelmeyer Insurance. Our good friend and hobby legend, John Tobby of JT Sports, has been using Finkelmeyer Insurance for over 20 years. For more information for your collection, go to thefia.com, thefia.com. That's Finkelmeyer Insurance, where collecting is our passion.
Hey, Jeremy, before we take a break, we got a couple of minutes. Pokemon. Let's talk Pokemon.
Rico's favorite topic.
Oh, Jesus. You think you were sticking needles in his eyes when you're talking about Pokemon. But, I mean, you're a card guy going way back. Have you learned Pokemon? Are you understanding Pokemon? You guys sell a lot of it.
We do. And I'm going to stick with it. I don't know it. I don't understand it. I know some of the names. My son will open it and rip the packs and ask me questions about it. I said, I don't know. But the industry knows, and the industry continues to grow with this, and we have to adapt with what the customers want out there. So yeah, Pokemon and TCG cards all together continue to grow, and it will become this year a big part of our auction. We actually have a featured auction coming up in the next couple of weeks that coincides with a new show in Toronto that's run by the Sports Card Expo guys up there. They're putting on a TCG heavy card show, and you look around the shows these days, and Philly's a perfect example. The guys there have a special TCG area that is for the show. There is no way back in my first days of going to Fort Washington show in Philly there that I would think this would ever be a player at all, and it is. And the guys at West Coast show are having a separate show for that, and the front row shows are heavy with Pokemon. And I would be surprised at the National this year. There is not a bigger Pokemon presence than even.
I think I was talking to Joe Drellick about that, and I believe, unless I dreamt it, I think they're going to have an entire floor dedicated to Pokemon.
It didn't surprise me. On that second floor of the Rosemont, they could have made last year much bigger.
I think that's where they're going to do it. I think it's going to be on that second floor.
All right, so based on the last 2 questions, let me ask this, Jeremy. It feels like, and correct me if I'm wrong, it feels like the investment aspect of the hobby is growing and growing. So you're bringing more people who are investing in collecting as opposed to collecting for nostalgia, collecting for the love of collecting. And you guys form a perfect crossroad for all these different types of auctionable items. Are you seeing a lot of crossover? Are vintage baseball guys, maybe not to Pokemon, but going to art or going to pop memorabilia and things like that? Is there a lot more crossover?
Yeah, there is crossover on that. What I love about Pristine is we also allow those that are in there for investments to get in there. There's some pieces there. If there's some folks that are in the lower end level, they can get some good pieces in there that they want to. We don't expect everybody to be able to have $100,000 to come in here and buy some one of one, this or that. But we also have people, and we're seeing it a lot on our live auction platform that continues to grow, where people, when we say, hey, we're having vintage cards, the room fills up with vintage collectors. And you'll see those same folks in our modern auctions doing some of the investments. So you can always go there and say, hey, I like to dabble in the safe commodity. I love that Mickey Mantle, Babe Ruth stuff that is never going to go down in value. But now I can also dabble in all these rookies as well. So I've got some risk and some safety where I want to dabble in that. So yeah, there's definitely crossover in collectors and what they're doing.
We are chatting with Jeromy Murray from Pristine Auctions. Man, this is good stuff, cool stuff. You're really giving us a real clear picture of what Pristine is all about. We have a couple more things to talk about. We're going to take a quick break. Not sure if Doug Keating is going to be joining. Have we seen Doug? Is he still MIA?
Off and on. He actually had a camera for a little bit, but he's off right now.
Okay. Hang in there. We'll be right back.
I'm Rebecca Curry, a two-time child cancer survivor, recipient, and advocate for Lucy's Love Bus. The mission of Lucy's Love Bus, 501c3 nonprofit, is to provide joy, comfort, and quality of life for the entire family of children with cancer. Since 2006, they have delivered love and comfort to over 3,000 children with cancer and their family members across New England. The dream of Lucy Grogan, an 11-year-old cancer patient, was to help kids with cancer who are suffering right now, before there is a cure, by offering free, integrative therapies like art, music, horseback riding, and many other activities. Unfortunately, Lucy passed away, but her dream lives on, and today Lucy's Love Bus is thriving.
I'm Red Sox Hall of Famer Rico Petrocelli. I hope that you'll consider supporting Lucy's Love Bus and all of those children who have been stricken by cancer. The Great American Collectibles Show is partnering with Lucy's Love Bus to help these kids. Let's continue Lucy's dream. Please go to lucyslovebus.org for more information.
Pristine Auction is a family-owned and operated online auction specializing in autographed memorabilia, sports cards, coins, art, and collectibles. Since their founding in 2010, they've grown to 2 facilities in Phoenix, Arizona, totaling over 60,000 square feet. Jared Cavalier and an incredible staff of over 150 team members serve a very large customer base and enjoy every minute of it. By working with leading authentication companies, Pristine ensures all items are 100% authentic. In addition, third-party authenticators regularly travel to Pristine Auction to provide authentication services on site. Pristine Auction strives to operate its business in a way that's honoring to God, their families, and their customers. With a strong focus on speed, quality, and premier customer service, their mission is to be the leading online auction for every level of collector and fan. Pristine also works for Hope Sports and Identity Hoops International, traveling to Mexico to build houses for the less fortunate. Pristine Auction offers several online auction formats with thousands of auctions ending each day. For more information, go to pristineauction.com. That's Pristine Auction, the best in the business.
If you're a discerning collector interested in owning the most important pieces in the hobby, look no further than Leland's Auctions. The original sports auction and appraisal house, Leland's was established in 1985 by legendary Pioneer founder Joshua Leland Evans. And today, President Mike Hefner carries on their tradition. From the Tom Brady card and memorabilia collection to the famed Boston Garden Auction to high-end card auctions from every major sport, Leland's has always maintained the highest standards. Go to Lelands.com and get your bid in. That's Leland's, the hobby's leading sports auction house for 4 decades.
It's often been said that championships are won on the practice field, and world records come only to those willing to work harder than everybody else. Heritage Auctions is the world's largest collectibles auctioneer, because we believe that becoming the best is only an invitation to the challenge of remaining the best. This requires the skills of the hobby's top experts, capable of identifying and maximizing value for our consigners. It requires the most visited website in the industry, courting a global audience of collectors over 1.5 million strong. It requires a dedicated press department that expands our global reach far beyond the entrenched hobby marketplace. It's hard work, but a simple premise. Present the finest collectibles to the largest population of potential buyers, and world records will come. We invite all listeners to put the unmatched power of Heritage Auctions to work for you. Auction evaluations are always free, and our commission-based fee structure ensures that our interests are always aligned. The highest possible price for your collectibles. There will always be new world records to chase, so let's chase them together. Visit our website at ha.com and request your no-obligation review today.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
Are you a collector looking for that rare trading card or autographed ball or photo? If so, then PB Collectibles in Newport is the place for you. PB Collectibles has graded cards, raw cards, complete sets, and wax boxes of the stars of the future, today, and from the past. We also offer a large selection of both vintage and modern cards. So whether you're looking to add to your collection or sell it, visit us at PB Collectibles, 269 Spring Street in Newport, located across from St. Mary's Church. We are your neighborhood card shop and much more.
Hey, I'm Mike Petroselli. If your company is looking for the best in marketing and promotional items, you'll hit a home run with Petroselli Marketing. With over 8,000 suppliers and 650,000 imprint-ready items, we can get your company the visibility it needs to get your maximum exposure. Whether it be office promotions, wearables, automotive, sports items, and everything in between, Petroselli Marketing can do it all. Our design staff will even work with you from concept to delivery and customize your products. At Petroselli Marketing Group, we will get your brand in front of your audience. Contact us at info@petrosellimkt.com or call us at 603-880-3202. That's Petroselli Marketing, where no dream is impossible.
Okay, we are back, and looks like Doug is not with us, huh, Louie boy?
No, Doug sent a note. He had a little problem with his computer.
Okay, no problem.
We'll line him up.
Yeah, no, we'll Doug's a good guy. We'll hook him up next time. Jeremy, actually, you know something? You were talking. Let's talk about Philly right now, and then I have a question for you. East Coast Sports Marketing, along with eBay, are pleased to present the Philadelphia Sports Collectors Show. The Philly Show from Friday, March 6th to Sunday, March 8th, held at the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center, halls A, B, and at 100 Station Ave, Oaks, Pennsylvania. The Philly Show is bigger and better than ever. Shop over 1,000 tables from 300 of your favorite hobby dealers from across the country, displaying sports cards and collectibles from the 1800s to present day. Visit the Pokemon TCG section with over 100 tables. Major sports auction houses and third-party grading and authentication companies are on hand to assist your collecting needs. The Philly Show is family-friendly, and all kids 10 and under get in for free. Military, they get 50% off. Autograph guests to include 10-plus Baseball Hall of Famers, Mike Piazza, Chipper Jones, Ozzie Smith, Steve Carlton, some Hall of Fame football players like Ray Lewis, Earl Campbell, Jack Ham, Eagles legend Brian Dawkins, Randall Cunningham, and Vince Papale, and many more. For more information, go to phillyshow.com. Remember, since 1975, the Philly Show is where it all started. I'll tell you, Jeromy, you haven't been there in a while?
I have not been there in a couple of years since they have expanded. And
It's a great show. I mean, it's a great show.
I know that Joe and Dave Marino and the guys over there, like you could tell, just the autograph lineup that have been added there and the size of the room that keeps expanding, and now it's TCG.
Yeah,
they're doing big things. I love it.
Rico and I, we did the broadcast, the last show. What was that, Louis? In September, I think it was.
Yep.
We broadcasted from there, and we had a ball. It was jam packed.
Yep.
And it's just a great venue. It's a great venue. Plenty of room. You know, you're not all jammed in. No, it's a great show.
I mentioned it before that when I first started doing shows and would go do the Fort Washington show, the old Philly show that was there. And I can't remember the promoter's name, but it was the first time that I ran into a promoter that was so strict. And if you shut down your booth before 4 o'clock on Sunday, you were not allowed in the show next time. And it was awesome. It was so fun. And now it's expanded to what it is now and grown. And I mean, I think it just shows the strength of the hobby and the new collectors that are in there.
It's become, I mean, just talking about the National, for instance, the National, how do you describe it? It's become the event of events. You know, 20 years ago when we started at the National, there were card booths, there were memorabilia booths. Now the technology is absolutely mind-boggling. Just as a matter of fact, we're going to be participating in July. Joe and the National staff, you were there last year, right?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes. I was with you. I got on stage with you.
Oh, that's right. You were on stage with us. But did you see their podcast booth?
Yeah.
I mean, their podcast booth is like state of the art. We're going to be doing a couple of shows there in-house for them. Lou, you should see this podcast studio. It's absolutely incredible. Just incredible. They have cameramen. It's really, really impressive.
Hopefully this year they don't put us next to the Bo Jackson booth where they were screaming at Flavor Flav was out there. Yeah, boy!
You saw what happened with us. Yeah. We were broadcasting from there, and we were right next to the booth, as you know. And then all of a sudden, at some point, Flavor, whatever his name is, Flavor Flav, and Bo Jackson kind of crashed our show. Yeah. Walked on, started. No, it was pretty funny. But they were crazy. Listen, I want to ask you, do you guys have at Pristine, do you have an in-house store? Can people come in off the street to buy product?
We don't. It's all, I mean, you can come in to pick up your purchases if you're local and save on shipping and do that. And we have a rotating door where people are coming in, dropping off and picking up. But we don't have a store. We don't have anything up for, that's for retail. I mean, it's all auction. We do have a marketplace that's there that has some retail or some set pricing items there, but no buy it now store type thing.
Do you have a cafeteria?
We don't. We have a very, very cool, nice break room. And when like today would be perfect. We can open the garage door up and enjoy the outside.
Oh, nice.
But no cafeteria, no, for the Southerners there, no Luby's or Piccadilly serving.
I mean, I picture the inside of Pristine kind of like that San Francisco vibe, where you walk in and some people are working at their computers, sitting at a little table or sitting at a floor, or just kind of like, I mean, are there cubicles and offices and all that stuff?
There are. We need to set something up where you guys come out here and take a tour and do that here. It's really, really a building that I wanted to copy in my former job in the industry. When I saw this building, I was like, it's exactly what I want to feel. Outside my office, there is a large balcony that you can go and you're looking at the mountains and this and that and work out there. And the people have lunch out there and do calls out there. Like I said, the break room is down there. But I'll be honest with you, it sort of looks like we're busting at the seams a bit here because we've got desks and stuff everywhere as the business continues to grow. Our listing room have people that are there working and photography booths and they're listing. And the warehouse is packed and there's pallets in the aisles until we get them on the shelf. So you're close to sort of that California vibe, but it's pretty busy here.
Interesting. Very interesting. How many auctions do you guys do over the course of a week? Like your 10-minute auction. I mean, you do a 10-minute auction. How many hours a day?
10-minute auction starts at 11 a.m. Mountain Time, our time, and it goes till 8 o'clock our time. We expanded that.
Have you seen that?
No, I haven't. So it's
They have a 10-minute auction.
Yeah.
With no reserve. No reserve.
Yeah. Starts at on. It's really crazy. And my dad, when I first started working here, and he came out to visit, and he sat in our backyard and watched the 10-minute auction all day. And he would come in and say, "Did you see what this just sold for? Did you see this?" I was like, "Yes, I'm around it all the time. I see that." He's like, "I can't believe it sold for this and this." It's great.
I scratch my head. I gotta be honest with you. I scratch my head sometimes, and I see like a really cool piece starting at $1, and whatever it sells for, I'm saying, how did that sell for that price? It's just mind-boggling.
It's something where, and we've actually seen it more with our live auction now that is continues to grow, and it's the Whatnot eBay Live type aspect where they're selling cards constantly. It is now, we've expanded that from 11 a.m. until midnight all day, and we've added a second stream in there that is all mem for a couple of hours a day, memorabilia, all sorts of stuff that are there. And it's the thing where I've talked to buyers and consigners that they have it in their ear all day and they're listening all day, or they have it in the background where they're listening. If something pops up, they jump on there. So it's a thing where I sort of mentioned it earlier, where we're hitting collectors at whatever level they want to be at higher end stuff. Jared just wrapped up our Elite Live auction last night where he ran some crazy pieces at 15, 20, 30-second auctions. And then so the higher end stuff there. But today you'll go in there and you'll get $5, $10 Bonix.
You know something? I could really see where it could become addicting, to be honest with you. Yeah. I mean, it's like unbelievable what you got. It really is. It's kind
of like the auction equivalent of breaking, actually, because you never know what you're going to get at a particular price. You might get a bargain.
And that's the thing where if you sit around and our hosts are so good at it, and the co-hosts are there, and if people are saying, "Hey, do you have any Drake May?" and they'll go and they'll dig through Drake May and they'll bring some Drake May to you. So it's sort of a customized auction where you can ask for stuff, and if we've got it, we'll pull it up there. And yes, you can absolutely get some deals. And
so go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. You'll go.
No, I was going to say, so when you guys are at the National, do you take consignments there? I mean, what is the function of Heritage will take consignments. Memory Lane will. Do you guys take consignments at the National?
Yeah, any show that we attend, we want to be there to take consignments, and we have discussions with our consigners before we even get to the show. We reach out and say, if you've got items to consign them here. Save on your shipping. They get them listed a little bit quicker. There's some perks that go along with consigning their own show. So what we want to do is when we go into a show, we've got consignments lined up. And I think still, I don't think that maybe the majority know that, hey, you can consign to Pristine. Like, we want that. We want to get your items up here. If it's cards, if it's memorabilia, if it's pop culture, if it's video games that we've got up and running right now in our pop culture auction, like, if we can sell it, we would love to help you out with that. And so, yeah, any show that we go through there, that we take consignments. And our goal at the shows is kind of twofold. We love to sign up new buyers. And what we did last year is we had some show exclusive auctions and pedestals set up around the shows that we're at, that you could pick the items up there. There's no buyer's premium. You buy it, you pick it up right there, and you walk out with it. And there's some great items in there. Same type stuff where you can get some really good deals and pick up some really good collectibles right there on site. So with that, we get people registering, and that's what we want. And then obviously get consignments.
Last question I have. Tell us about that strictly PSA 10 section. You guys, all you do is you have a part of your, what, an auction is it that's strictly PSA 10s?
The auction that just wrapped up, I think it wrapped up yesterday. It wasn't just PSA cards. It was any cards that were graded as a 10.
10.
A lot of PSA Jim Mints in there, obviously, but CGC and Beckett were all mixed in there. So what's great about Pristine is the flexibility that we have, that we can spin up these auctions if we have the inventory for it. So what we were having is we had so many cards coming in, and that we weren't able to sell them quick enough, because we don't want to put 3,000 or 4,000 cards in one auction. They get lost. So we said, hey, here's what we do. Let's spin up a 10 auction. And so it's only 10s. And so people can come to Pristine and they can say, that's all I'm looking for. I want 10s. I can scroll through here. Look at it. It's amazing. We've got one coming up. We did one a couple of weeks ago, and one monthly is flats. Flat signed items there that sometimes are hard to put into a certain auction, so we spin that up. We also have the ability to, if you are a consignor that wants their own auction, you want to put in Tom Zappa collection only, we can spin up an auction that's just for you, that's marked.
Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. Before we let you go, your Super Bowl prediction, sir?
Yeah. What kind of bias we need an objective?
I'm going to check. We're New England fans, but you can tell it like it is.
I think looking at it right off, looking at it paper, I think Seattle is what the public is going to take. I think what they saw with the last game against the Rams versus what they saw in Denver, I think Seattle's going to kill them. Seattle's going to kill them. But those big buildings out in the desert were not built on people winning and knowing. So if I was to bet the game, and I may bet the game, I'm going to let the public continue to hammer Seattle, and then I'm going to take the Patriots at the end. And it's not going to surprise me with Vrabel coming in there with some defensive master plan to shut that offense down. It's not going to surprise me. So my prediction is, I'm sitting here now, I would bet on the Patriots, but I think Seattle wins.
Well,
how many points do you need to take the Patriots?
I think you get over, and it may already be there now. It started at 3.5, and I think it got up to 4.5. I don't know where it sits right now. You'll know, Lou. I would want to be north of 4 to get past that 3 .
Well, as I said to you guys, I think you were on before we went on the air. I said, were you there when I talked about my dad? I don't know if you were, if you weren't, Jeremy, but I said to Lou, as the late great Sonny Zappala, who was a gambling degenerate, said, one of his dying words were, bet the streak. And the streak is they're 9-0 or 10-0 on the road, and Sam Darnold is 0-4 against the Patriots. Bet the streak.
Yep.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
It's a thing where Sam Darnold has scared me all through the playoffs by saying, I don't trust Sam Darnold. I've watched him long enough that I don't trust Sam Darnold.
To your point, though, Jeremy, that Seattle-Los Angeles game was kind of intimidating. And I think it's going to feed into the money going to Seattle a lot, because they both looked really good on offense.
Agreed. And I think that when it first came out and they said, lines out, it's Seattle minus 3.5. You're like, well, Seattle all day. Like, look what we watched on the field today. They're going to just mop them. Yeah. And again,
hey, it could be ugly, but you never know. You never know.
Never know.
With that being said, people can go to pristineauctions.com, correct?
Pristineauction.com, yes, sir.
That's the website. Great company. You guys, as I say, I always call you guys, you're the outlier in the hobby, but I'm paying you a compliment.
I love it. I love being the outlier.
With that being said, Jeremy, do me a favor, mention to Jared. It would be really nice if he could call me. He's very tough to get a hold of, as we all know. But if he could call me, I want to talk to him about what we talked about. And I think that's about it. Lou, do we have any final comments?
Nope. Just had fun with Jeremy and looking forward to. We got one more week before the Super Bowl. One more show.
Great.
Yep. I love being on with you guys. It's always fun talking to you.
Great. With that being said, we love you guys. Thank you for all the support and happy collecting.